As economists increase their prediction of a recession in 2023, we've already seen U.S. real estate prices plunging, in some markets as much as 45%. And yet there are other markets that are surging. I'll tell you where. The headline from CNBC, luxury home sales plunged 45%, with Miami and the Hamptons hit the hardest. Basically, sales of luxury homes have been cut by half in some markets compared to the year before in U.S. markets, with CNBC saying that the U.S. housing market is taking a hard hit from higher mortgage rates and luxury home sales are seeing the worst of it. Now, you may not feel sorry for people who have a harder time selling their luxury home or people who may not be able to buy a luxury home. But it does say something, as I'll tell you in a minute, about where people want to live in a time of increasing taxes and dwindling freedoms. Sales of luxury homes dropped 45%. Redfin, who put these stats together, defines luxury homes as those estimated to be in the top 5% based on estimated value. Sales of non-luxury homes were also down, but only by 38%. Now, a lot of Americans have been moving out of New York, out of the Hamptons, for example, and going to places like Miami. They have seen a wealthy influx of wealthy buyers, says CNBC. They're migrating from the Northeast, especially due to the COVID pandemic, and because the Northeast has millionaire taxes, high state taxes, even city taxes in places like New York City. And they saw sales in Miami, the place where everyone's moving to reduce their tax bill, saw sales drop by 69%, followed by Long Island, Nassau, and Suffolk counties, down 63%. Priciest California markets also saw big losses. And what CNBC says is that while not all luxury buyers use mortgages, they are still affected by the broader economy and more specifically the stock market. Volatility in financial markets is therefore having an outsized effect on the real estate market. And so if you have a house in the United States, you are seeing a lot less interest. Sales of homes are going down, including in places where things are supposed to be on the upswing. Now, that's not the case everywhere. And what we've been seeing, according to all the reports, is not only a precipitous decline in the number of millionaires who want to move to the United States. Okay, so historically, let's take Miami, for example. You'd have folks from South America, Colombia, Venezuela. They want to move to Miami. They want to buy property. There's fewer of them coming in now. Okay, we've seen a shift, for example, even in our business, from Mexican clients, wealthy Mexican clients and business owners. They don't want to move to the U.S. anymore. Now they want to move to Canada. We need to dissuade them that since one of their goals is to reduce their taxes, they ain't reducing their taxes moving to Canada. Maybe Portugal, maybe Ireland, maybe Italy would be good for them, right? Maybe somewhere else. You're seeing fewer people who want to move to the United States. You're seeing fewer people who want to move to most Western countries if they are high net worth individuals, the kind who buy luxury homes. Australia did make the list. They're still seeing an influx of people, which I don't understand given how restrictive Australia was into letting its own citizens into their country. To me, that's simply unacceptable. But you're seeing Singapore rise. You're seeing Switzerland rise. You're seeing places that have lower taxes rise in terms of attracting inward high net worth individuals. And you're also seeing, which contributes perhaps in a small way to these numbers of dwindling luxury home sales in the US, you are seeing more millionaires and what are called very high net worth individuals, folks with $5 million or more, leaving the United States for other places. Among other places, where are they going? They're going to Switzerland, they're going to Singapore, they're going also to the United Arab Emirates. Property prices in Dubai, I look at, when I was there looking at property in summer of 2021, and when I was there about a month or two ago, have doubled or more in many cases. It is through the roof. So here's an article from Zaya, which is a publication put together by an analytics firm that says tourism and visa reforms to drive Dubai Realty in 2023. Dubai's real estate sector will sustain upward growth this year. And I've got article after article after article that says Dubai's housing boom shows no signs of shutting down. Dubai's property market fueled by wealthy buyers. Luxury units are a quick sell. So while time on market is increasing for luxury properties in the United States, properties in Dubai are flying off the shelf. Now, there is some talk that the increase in growth will decrease in 2023. In other countries with high taxes, where it's harder to come in as a foreigner, and where interest from foreigners is declining, and where interest from the locals getting out is increasing because of high taxes, because of government policies, you're seeing actual declines. Markets are going down. In Dubai, they're talking about just perhaps a tapering of the growth. But they're still saying properties are a quick sell. Also, Khaleej Times, Dubai real estate deals surge 43% on high investor demand. So basically, you've got the exact opposite. The United States is down 45%, Dubai up 43%. Prices are going down in the US, prices are going up. And maybe the growth will slow, but they're not going to stop going up, is what the data shows. Slower, more time on market, more days accumulated in the US, especially in even the markets that, it's not just New York, even in markets like Miami. Quick sell in places like Dubai. Now, I never believe real estate prices always go up. I'm not buying into that. But here's the thing. I do believe in the free market. And when we look at all the data, you see record numbers of Americans who are renouncing citizenship. The vast majority of those are going to be high net worth individuals, wealthy individuals, successful people, entrepreneurs, investors, what have you, people who contribute value. That Joe Biden goes on Twitter and assails. His old boss says they didn't build that. And now Joe Biden wants to redefine what income is. They can pay more in taxes because he bungled for all the 89 years he's been in power in the United States. He's bungled and misspent their money. And so I'm not saying that there aren't deals to be had in the United States. And I'm not saying that the UAE is a paradise. What we do at Nomad Capitalist is help successful people who want to relocate out of the US and other Western countries find the best for them. And the reality is the majority of our clients don't move to Dubai for any number of reasons, right? But some do. And the UAE is growing because they've liberalized visa policies at a time that the United States is making it harder for foreigners to get in. Now, you may like that, but the people coming to buy your property in Miami, if they can't get in, they're not going to buy it, right? EB-5, for example, green cards for investors, are notoriously slow. And you see people in the news saying, we just give up. We're going to go somewhere else. Right? Europe has a raft of investment immigration programs we can take advantage of. We'll just go invest there. Right? There's plenty of foreigners who, hey, they might want to go to the US, but if it's going to be so painful, they'll go somewhere else and they'll take their money somewhere else. Canada, New Zealand have basically shut foreigners out of buying property. That's fine, but don't expect your property to go through the roof all the time. People need to decide, do you want foreigners to come and invest in your country and help prices to go up? If you're a homeowner, you might like that. Right? Obviously, if you're trying to get into the game, it's not a good thing. But if you already own a home and you've been used to these huge gains in property, we live in the best country in the world, property prices go up. Yeah, then the government comes in and makes it hard for foreigners to come in or makes it impossible for them to put their money in. Meanwhile, the UAE and other countries too have liberalized visa policies. You can get a 10-year golden visa in the UAE now just by buying a house. If you buy a house in the US, you get nothing. You can't live there, you can't do anything. Now, that may be good, that may be bad, but if I'm looking as an agnostic, home buyer, where do I want to go, right? Do I want to go to the country where I can't even get in? And if I do, I've got to pay taxes through the nose and report my foreign bank accounts and report that business that my family has at home that I've been interested in. I've got to do all kinds of complicated tax filings. Or do I want to go to Dubai, where the politicians are actually smart, the people who run things have some experience and have a clue. They look at things and say, you know what, how do we listen to everybody and build the best country? Because we're just starting, right? And again, I'm not saying that the UAE is the best place. I don't live in Dubai, but when I go, I say, this is a place that's run intelligently, unlike places like the US. And when you move to the UAE instead of Florida, you actually can lower your taxes. I've got a friend who lives in Canada. He said, I'm thinking of moving to Florida. My taxes will be a little bit lower. I said, dude, why don't you just move either where I'm at in Asia or move to Dubai or move somewhere in the Caribbean and actually lower your taxes? You can move to Dubai and pay zero. And so I think a lot of people are realizing that, right? Their country locked them in or their country locked them out, in the case of Australia. Their countries, just like Joe Biden, Justin Trudeau, they not only want to put rules on how they use their money, but they want to take more of it. And they're just not really incentivizing investment. Who wants to invest in these business climates? And so the headlines are in. We all could have bought property in Dubai 2 years ago and made a fortune. Could have bought it 10 years ago, but it made a real fortune. And so this to me is explains what's happening in the world right now. Now, you don't have to like it, but the world has changed. Countries that you thought were a joke 20 years ago that were a punchline in late night television are now attracting people in droves to come because they've built a better mousetrap. Nomad Capitalist helps people do this. And again, some people the better mousetraps in Europe, some people it's in Asia, some people it's, in Dubai or other places. Everyone has their own better mousetrap. But there are so many better mousetraps, and now the numbers are starting to bear it out. Nomad Capitalist is a real estate service. If you're looking to buy a property, the guy who runs it is actually based in Dubai. And so there are still some deals to be had, but not a lot. But he does the research. He leads the whole research team on how you can buy property in places where it's actually affordable and where markets are actually growing. You can get high yields, taxes are lower, government's more favorable. You can learn more about that service at nomadcapitalist.com. And of course, we also help people who just want to move and put all the pieces together, and they're just tired of living in the US. They're tired of things going down. They're tired of taxes going up. They're tired of freedoms being thrown out the window. This is what we do. And I see the numbers finally reflecting what we've been talking about for 10 years.